Okay, so in this video we're going to have a look at 50 idioms. I think we're going to look at 10 questions and there's 4 options, so 40. Hopefully there's going to be 40 different idioms in this quiz. So what we've got to do is basically complete the sentences with the correct idiom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the 4 options for each question and go through the meanings of those idioms and then choose the one that fits best for the sentence that we're on, right? Does that make sense? So if we look at question 1, it says fallen head over heels. Well, if you fall head over heels, it means that you fall in love, madly in love. You're head over heels. You're completely in love. You're out of control with love. Bent over backwards. So to bend over backwards means to work really hard, essentially. If you bend over backwards, you do everything in your power to get something done. C, if you have your back against the wall. If you have your back against the wall, you're in a very difficult situation, right? And then we've got to burn your boats. Now, often, I think I normally say burn your bridges, right? If you burn your bridges, it means you can't go back. You do something that makes it impossible to... You go past the point of return, right? So imagine if you arrive in a new land on your boats and you burn the boats, you can't go back to where you came from, can you? Same thing if you walk over a bridge and burn the bridge. After you walk over it, you can't go back across that bridge. So you've done something which makes it impossible to go back. So the sentence is, with only 2 days left for the exam and half of the syllabus yet to complete, he has... he's in a very difficult situation. There's only 2 days left and half of the syllabus, half of the things he needs to do, he hasn't done. Right? I think I would say here his back is against the wall. Definitely. His back is against the wall, of course. He's in a situation where, he really doesn't have room to maneuver. His back is against the wall, right? Absolutely. Let's have a look at the next one. Okay, so a bit of a difficult one here. It says his performance with the guitar... What did it do? It mesmerized the audience. So to mesmerize the audience means to amaze them and captivate them completely, right? Not sure that that's an idiom, though. So that would be my problem with option A. Took my breath away. It took my breath away. It completely shocked me in a good way. I was astounded by it. It took my breath away. Now that's an idiom, because really you can't deduce the meaning of that without knowing what it means, really. If you see what I mean, that's an idiom. What about C? Sent me on cloud 9. No, you can be on cloud 9 when you're really happy about something. Was a small cog in a large wheel. To be a small cog in a large wheel, we're talking about machinery, right? Means that you're just another brick in the wall, I guess, is another idiom that you could use there. That you are just like one worker ant in the ant's nest, right? There is a much bigger collective operation going on and you just play a small part of it. No, I'm pretty sure that the answer here has to be that his performance took my breath away. It mesmerize the audience, yeah, but that's just a literal expression. I mean, we can understand what they mean there, I think. It's not really an idiom. Number 3, and I'm going to go back to what I was doing with the first one. Left in the cold. If you're left in the cold, it means you've been abandoned, essentially. How else could I explain that exactly? I guess you've been excluded, maybe in a social situation, people are not paying attention to you, you're being ignored, you're left in the cold. In a chicken and egg situation, we don't know which thing caused the other, right? Or which came first. So chicken and egg situation, I think we can understand that, essentially. Running round in circles, you're making no progress, you're not going forwards, you're not going where you want to be, you're just going round in circles. Burning my boats, which we've already spoken about, is doing something which takes you past the point of return. You cannot go back on what you have done. So in number 3, it says, I received a much smaller year-end bonus than I thought I would. I found myself left in the cold in a chicken and egg situation, running around in circles or burning my boats. I don't know. I think I'd say I found myself left in the cold. I think. You're sort of surprised at the treatment you've been given. Left in the cold? Yeah, I think so. It's certainly not a chicken and egg situation. It's certainly not running around in circles. It's certainly not... Maybe after you got the small bonus, you decided to burn your boats by going to your boss and screaming every expletive you could think of at him or her. And... that might be burning your boats, but I think it has to be left in the cold here. Yeah, that's what I'd say, definitely. I found myself left in the cold. I felt left in the cold. I felt ignored. I felt underappreciated. No? Yeah, let's move on to number 4. So in number 4, our options are on the other side of the coin, which basically means the other way of looking at something, the other point of view, the other opinion, another way of looking at it. On cloud 9, which we've already mentioned, means to be extremely happy. Cooling your heels. If you're cooling your heels, you're waiting for something. I don't know if it's sometimes the context of cooling your heels is waiting impatiently, right? You know, if you've come for a meeting and they're speaking to someone else and they're keeping you waiting, and you're getting impatient and you sit there cooling your heels. Yeah. Selling like hotcakes is when something, particularly something that you're selling, is very successful. So let's look at the context here. I was, after receiving the news that I topped the exam, right? That I got the best result in the exam. I think clearly I was ecstatic. I was on cloud 9, surely. Don't think any of the others would make sense. I was cooling my heels after hearing that I got the best result. Yeah, I mean, it's clearly B. It has to be B. So number 5. So the options. A, decided to break new ground with him. Breaking new ground is doing something that hasn't been done before. Going into new territory. I think we sometimes say breaking fresh ground as well. So, okay. B, decided not to speak to him. That's not an idiom. That just means decide not to speak to someone. Handle with kid gloves. So I've looked into this one before. Kid gloves are a kind of glove made from the leather of a baby goat, which is called a kid. Bizarrely enough, people don't often know these words that we have. We have an unbelievable vocabulary associated with animals in English, but kid gloves are gloves made from the leather of baby goats, right? And they're very soft, and if you handle something with kid gloves, you handle it very gently, right? You don't want to break it. Okay. Make no bones about it. I've looked up this expression before. Now, if you make no bones about something, it's that you're not hiding it. You're very clear and you don't have a problem expressing it. I make no bones about it. I don't pretend this is not the case. I understand it. It's serious. This is what I think. I don't want to hide anything. I make no bones about it. I have no problem with it. Right? So, I dislike him and well, why would you do something innovative with somebody that you don't like? I don't think it's A. Decided not to speak to him is not an idiom, so I don't think it's B. I handled him with kid gloves. I dislike him and I handled him. Well, I don't know why you would handle him. Maybe you would handle him with kid gloves if you dislike him. But if you handle someone with kid gloves, it's that you don't want to offend him. And this sounds like a very precise sentence, very concise. He's saying, I dislike him and I made no bones about it. Now, the origin of this expression is very interesting. It's when, apparently, when you would find bones with something or in something. I think they'd say find bones with something. It was a reference to finding bones in soup or in your food, which was obviously something disagreeable. And if you found a bone, it's like, oh, that's not very good, right? But if you make no bones about something, you're saying, oh no, I'm not making any complaints. I don't care. I can swallow it. I can take it. Don't worry. I dislike him and I made no bones about it. That's not a problem for me. That is, yeah, that's the way I feel. And I'm not worried if everyone can see it, right? I dislike him and I made no bones about it. Let's move on to number 6. So in number 6, the options we have: driving a hard bargain. If you drive a hard bargain, you're somebody that's difficult to negotiate with. If somebody wants to buy something off you, you're reluctant to sell. Or if you're trying to buy something, you're reluctant to pay the asking price. You drive a hard bargain. You're difficult to negotiate with. You have high trait disagreeability. Or as psychologists would say, or something like that. Low trait agreeableness. Anyway, B, turning the clock back. Well, almost literal, isn't it? But I guess it's figurative. It's to go back in time in a figurative sense. To do something perhaps that you would have done in your youth. To behave like you're younger, I don't know, to experience something that you haven't experienced for a long time is to turn the clock back. Up in arms means that you're indignant about something. You're up in arms. I think it means, arms as in guns and knives, things that you can use, weapons, right? Up in arms means that you're rebelling against something. You're indignant about something, and you're complaining and making yourself known, making it known, making it, you're showing that you're angry about something. You're up in arms, all right? You're rebelling. Head over heels, as we mentioned before, means to be in love. So the local people are driving a hard bargain against the new immigration law? No, I don't think so. Turning the clock back on the new immigration law? Turning the clock back against the new? No, that doesn't make sense. They could be up in arms against the new law passed by the government, right? They're absolutely indignant about it. They're rebelling against it. Head over heels against something? Again, that doesn't make sense. I think no. Very clearly, in number 6, the correct option has to be C. They're up in arms. The people are up in arms against the new immigration law passed by the government. Great, let's move on to number 7. Now, the options in number 7 are keep him at arm's length, right? If you put your arm out, it's like what we're told to do all the time now with the new normal. You keep everyone at arm's length, but this is, of course, a figurative expression. It means to be careful with that person, right? It's good to have a healthy amount of suspicion with that person. Make sure that you don't allow them to come too close to you because they're a bit toxic or something. You keep someone at arm's length. You want to keep a degree of separation. Bend over backwards, as we said before, is to make an extraordinary effort. You see the other side of the coin, is you see the other point of view, and pour cold water on something. Now that is when somebody, we say more colloquially, to piss on somebody's bonfire, and it means when somebody's enthusiastic about something, they're really happy, you throw some cold water on them, you pour cold water on them, and maybe you say something that's very real that they need to hear, and they suddenly realize how stupid their plan is. Or it might be because you're jealous of them and you just want to, you're a narcissist and you're not happy that they got that job promotion. Anyway, let's see the sentence, it says, after I found my friend bitching about me. Oh, we've got some nice words here today. Bitching about me. I've started to keep him. Oh, it's a man. Decided to keep him at arm's length. Yeah, I think so. That's what you need to do. If somebody's bitching about you when they're supposed to be your friend, yeah, good idea to keep them at arm's length, I think. Bend over backwards? What, to try and get them to stop bitching about you? Don't think so. See the other side of the coin? Bitching's not a good thing. It's not positive, constructive criticism, so it's not like something that you're going to try and understand. You might literally pour cold water on him, but no, I think the correct answer here clearly has to be A. That's the one that makes sense. To keep the person at arm's length, yeah, you want to have a bit of separation from toxic people that bitch about you, absolutely, especially when they're supposed to be your friend, right? If they are already an established enemy, maybe you want to keep them a bit closer. But anyway, let's move on to number 8. Okay, so some strange options here in number 8. Turn the clock back, as we've said before, is to, figuratively turn back time. Try to be friends with me. That doesn't sound like an idiom. That sounds very literal. Cut corners is to do something quickly by missing out certain steps of the process. I mean, if you think of a race, you're going around a racetrack. If you cut the corner off, you're going to get there more quickly, but it's actually illegal. So, cutting corners is often in reference to illegal activity, or hiding certain things, or basically leaving out essential steps of the process in order to do something more quickly. Change your tune, right? Your tune is the melody, but to change your tune figuratively means to change the opinion that you're giving, I suppose, or change your attitude towards something. So, after he came to know that I come from a wealthy family, he turned the clock back. No, I don't think so. He tried to become friends with me, maybe, but again, that's not an idiom. He cut corners, maybe, but I don't know why or in what sense. He changed his tune, right? Yeah, he wasn't being very friendly with me, but then when he found out I came from a rich family, he soon changed his tune, absolutely. Oh dear, what an absolute... what's the word? Classist? I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, let's move on to number 9. So, A is a bit of an odd one. It says, leave his outspoken party man in the cold, right? So that would be sort of to ignore or to exclude somebody in this political party, I think, from the conversation, right? Cut his outspoken party man to size, right? If you cut someone to size, how can I explain what that means? Yeah, if they are doing something you don't like, you figuratively mold them into the way you want them to be. If a president had someone in his party that was outspoken and disagreed with him, I think to cut them down to size would be, I don't know, to sort of show that this person is not as big as they think they are, right? And you would get them back in line by saying, hey, look, this is the way it is. You're not bigger than me or bigger than the party. Remember who you are. Get back in line. Shut up. You cut them down to size. Yeah. Put his outspoken party man under a cloud. That would be to make him depressed, I think, wouldn't it? Well, no, because we talk about, okay, right. We talk about clouds of suspicion. So I guess if you've got an outspoken party man, someone in your party that you don't want people to listen to because he's outspoken, he's speaking outside of the party lines, you want to whip him into shape, you might put him under a cloud of suspicion, right? You don't want to listen to him, ad hominem. D, turn the clock back on his outspoken party man. That doesn't quite sound right, does it? I mean, how do you turn the clock back on someone? I'm not even sure how you do that. The party president moved in to... Well, he moved in, he took action. No, he took action. So he took action to do what? I mean, take action in to ignore him is A. That doesn't quite sound right. Cut him down to size, yeah, absolutely. If you've got someone in the party that you want to shut up, you would take action. You would move in to cut them down to size. Maybe put the outspoken party man under a cloud. I guess this idea that they're outspoken, as the president, you move in to say, hey, get back in line. I think the best one here has got to be cut his outspoken party man down to size. That's what he did. He moved in to say, hey, what are you saying? You're wrong. Stop. Right? I don't want you speaking out anymore. Anyway, let's have a look at the last question. Oh, well, this one's an easy one. I think the last one, basically only one of those exists. I wasn't assigned any work immediately after my promotion. I was waiting impatiently for nearly a week. I cooled my heels. For over a week. Now, on this website, there's lots of other idioms to look at. There's 200 actually. So I'm wondering if there are some better quizzes we can make from these idioms. But anyway, there's 10 questions that we've had a look at today. It was quite interesting, I think. Did you know all of those idioms? Well, now you do. So we're finished for today.